Okay, I'm gonna be doing a quick packing video and also a review of this Peak Design everyday bag, and this is the 20-liter version. I recently bought this and then took it on a 2-week trip to Croatia and Slovenia. This was my main bag for my camera as my daily carry, but it was also my carry-on bag, so I also had things that were not camera related. So I want to talk about how this bag performed, what I packed in it, and what were the pros for me and what were the cons. So the first thing I want to talk about, right now I'm filming with my A7 IV, so I can't really show how I packed that exactly. But what I did, and you can see that I put these little straps on here. This red was to tell me that this is where my camera was, and then I had yellow. I guess I didn't really need to put another one, but I had yellow on the side that wasn't my camera, just so I knew what I was taking out of my bag each time. I also locked one of the zippers while I was using it, so you can actually loop the zipper here through this little tab on the bottom and clip it together. So for instance, this strap can go through this loop, and then it's a little bit difficult, but it can be clipped on to there so that it kind of locks the zipper from being able to be used. So I just had one zipper that was functioning for my camera side because I didn't want both zippers to be able to come undone. So on the camera side of the bag, this is where I put my camera body, and I also had my Sigma 24 to 70 millimeter lens. And how I had this packed was I actually put I had this little side thing down, and I put this lens just like that, and my camera body sat here. So you can imagine how that was sitting, since I'm currently using the A7 IV. The A7 IV was sitting here, and this lens was just like that. Then on the other side, I had my Sony headphones for traveling, and these went perfectly into this little section on this side. I also have my camera strap. This is the slide light. No, this might be the leash. I think this is the Peak Design leash. So I had this. Usually it was on my camera, but I kind of just stuffed it in this side pouch along with my A7 IV and my 24 to 70 millimeter lens. And then I had my passport in here. So it was a little bit difficult using non-camera stuff. So I put a few little things in these side pouches. I had this little air blower thing kind of stuffed in one of these pouches here, so it was easy to get to. I also have these the camera covers and the lens covers in these side pouches, so if I needed to switch lenses, and I actually put them by my camera, so if I needed to switch lenses, I could. Lastly, I had my 20 millimeter Sony lens, which I'm currently using to film with, but I put that in here. You can actually see that this folds down, and there's a little spot right there. So this is my case for my Sony lens. I stuck that right inside of there, so you can see that that's where my 20 millimeter sat, and I was able to close it like that, and then put my headphones right in there. Now, once I shut this all up, that was really all I had in here as far as camera gear. So next I packed the top of the bag. I had an air tag inside this little hidden pouch right here. And then the next thing, I have the Peak Design, this is the tech pouch, I believe. And I might do another video on packing this thing, but this mostly had my chargers, my batteries. It also had my filters. It had a bunch of different stuff in here, so this is nice to be able to carry around. I stuck this right in the top here. So I also put my Kindle in here for the plane, and I also put my little Anbaric Game Boy emulator. So that all went in here. And then I also had my passport in here. So in the top of my bag I have my passport, pretty easy to get to. And sometimes when I'm traveling I move that around in different spots, but mostly I had it in there. Lastly, it also has some pockets back here, and it has a laptop sleeve. I have a 13-inch MacBook Air, which fits perfectly in here. So I also had that packed away. That covers how I packed this bag. How I had it packed, I mean, I really don't have that much camera stuff. I had 2 lenses, a camera body, I had a bunch of filters, batteries, but with my laptop and my other carry-on items, it did get a little bit heavy. I did opt to get the hip belt because of how heavy I felt that the bag was. And next I will do a review on how I felt like this bag did while I was carrying it around, how it held up. I only took it on one trip, so I had it about a month, but I used it for about 2 weeks straight. Okay, now that I've shown how I packed the bag for my trip, I just want to go over some of the things I like and don't like about this bag. First of all, these inserts inside that fold, you can set them up. They come out. You can set them up however you want them. So I have them set up perfectly how I liked them with my camera gear, but you can move them up and down. So the Velcro is really strong to pull these in and out, and moving them is pretty easy. The thing I don't like about these inserts is that sometimes the folds aren't as strong as I think that they should be. I noticed that if I had something that was a little too big in here, that it would pop back down, and that's not really what I want to have happen. They do have like these double folds, so there's actually like two layers of the fold. But yeah, I noticed even when I have the double up, if I have my lens in here and there's like a little tiny bit too big, with some movement, this would just pop right back down. And I think over time it just kind of gets, and I haven't really had it that long, it just gets a little bit flimsier. You have these side pockets here, and if you want to use them, like let's say I have my 17-ounce water bottle here, so you put that in here, and actually I'm going to show you on the other side, because you put this in here and there's no way to tighten this pocket to secure this water bottle, and that's one of the things I hate the most, is worrying about, let's say I'm going to throw this bag into the overhead compartment because I don't want it under the seat. By the way, it does fit under your seat. It's fairly small on the plane, but if you want to put it overhead just because you don't want to deal with it, I don't like the idea that this bottle is going to be loose. So you can see it just slides right out. Now they do have this little strap here, which is clipped on to this anchor point. You can use this to secure your bottle. I think it's more for a tripod, which I'll show you in a second. So you could cinch this down kind of over this, so then the water bottle doesn't actually fall out. You can see it almost still does. Well, it kind of still does, but if you tighten it way down, it won't. But the problem is, you can see once I've tightened that, this whole panel is pretty deformed. So I really can't even zip this thing up correctly. Yeah, so trying to zip this up is now very hard because this is all contorted. So in the end, I stopped putting my water bottle in here unless I was actually walking around and not worrying about throwing this down or something, because I just didn't want my water bottle flying everywhere. Now, I did take my small Gorilla Pod and stick it in here sometimes. Now, I think that this is a better situation for this little strap here, because you can kind of just loosely put it on there and then it's secure, it's not going anywhere. But the problem is, if you have this pocket full and then you also want to try to use these inside pockets, technically the outside pocket is taking up some of this room. So I was only really able to use very small items like lens caps in these side pockets, because if I was planning on putting anything in these side pouches, these things are basically now full. So the top one's still okay, but you can see, like, even if I want to put this in here, it's quite the squeeze. And the next problem is, now let's say you don't want to fold this up. Well, this is now pressing on here, so you're losing some room inside that bag, and it's starting to feel like it's overstuffed. When I first started on the trip, I tried to pack these, as well as, filling up my whole bag, and I was planning on also using the side pouches, but I learned realistically you're only going to be able to use one or the other unless you want to have a problem with not being able to get into these pockets very easily. It's better to just use these when you absolutely need to, and as a carry-on as well as a day bag, it just really wasn't feasible to stuff all my stuff into these side pouches as well as these inside side pockets. The next thing to talk about is this little tab that opens, and you can put it on the different rungs. I ended up having to take a jacket with me or something. So like while I was able to pack it, all my stuff like this on the low rung, if I wanted to stuff an extra jacket, I could simply put it on the top rung, and you get a little bit of extra space here. Yeah, when you stuff this completely full, you can have a little bit more room in the top. Now, the only thing I really didn't like about this was that the bag looks really funky once it's stuffed all the way. I was opting to take more stuff out of my bag to just try to keep it down on these lower rungs. The top rung, or the two top rungs, I feel like start to make your bag look really funny. This top flap folds up. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. One great feature about this is the laptop sleeve. Now, when you put your laptop in here, it also takes up some of this pouch. So you have this pouch here, which is an open pouch, as well as these two small pouches. Well, you can imagine if you stuff the top and then stuff this full, it takes up space. You're not going to be able to add more space. So this bag really does have a lot of problems, as well as far as pockets that can't all be used at the same time. You can use one or the other. You can use some of them, but if you try to use all of them, it really becomes an issue. All right, when it comes to the straps, these straps are actually very comfortable, but the thing I didn't like about them was that they are not adjustable up here. So I'll put some footage here next of me wearing the bag. So the hip strap is here, and it actually loops through this back panel here. There's a little piece of Velcro on here, so you slide this through the back, like that. Kind of hear it get onto the Velcro. Make sure it's even, and now you have a hip strap. Okay, so here's my try-on of the Peak Design Everyday bag. So my first problem with this, it just felt like overall it was hanging too far down on my back. As far as these straps, I feel like they need to be higher up on me specifically. It just felt like it was constantly pulling me back. And there's no adjustment on this strap to pull it up higher, or pull the strap higher, or pull the bag higher up to my back. The little sternum strap here seemed to be doing all the lifting. Even though I had the hip belt, I had to put it as tight as I possibly could to make it feel like it was really doing anything at all. So here, you can see that it's pretty tight on me. Like I have it tight, but it doesn't feel like it's really holding the weight of the bag. And mostly because this strap right here, it gets really uncomfortable the tighter it gets. The clip and this is cutting into your body. So even if I wanted to put it tighter and tighter, it really doesn't put the stress onto my hips so that it can carry the bag. It's just hurting right here. So I felt like this padding needed to come out farther so that it wasn't hurting so bad. I eventually just took this off because I felt like I was still just holding everything on my shoulders, and eventually after wearing it all day long, I just felt so tired and my back was hurting. I really didn't want to put the bag on anymore the rest of the trip. Overall, this is a very well built bag, and I can see if you're planning on just taking it around like for a day, like from your house, and you're only taking a few things, you're really not loading it very heavy. I would say maybe not even taking your laptop with you. It would be a good bag. But if you're really trying to load it heavy and carry it for an entire day, I feel like that's more of a problem. I just feel like it doesn't do that job very well. The materials are great. It held up really great as far as being thrown through airplanes, through buses, and everything that I was doing to it. But overall, I am not planning to continue using this bag for what I had been using it for, as far as a carry-on, and then a day pack for holding it for, or running around a city or hiking, for the entire day. I just feel like it's not a bag that really can do that.